What's up, what's up, what's up, my beautiful, diverse American people? It's me, JD, the good JD, and I'm back. Just wanted to go over a few things. Number one, I wanted to just marvel at the beautiful, global diversity that the World Cup has brought to our shores. While the regime is out imposing their racism, the world is here celebrating and enjoying vacations, once in a lifetime vacations that you cannot blame anyone for just looking at at that happiness, enjoying these remarkable, amazing games that the world has brought to our shores. Yeah, I know you've noticed that the word diversity has not been mentioned in any media outlet, despite the fact that in every World Cup city, every nation has brought diversity and beautiful culture to these cities, such as Kansas City, which is the become the stupid central of white stupidity, the basis as a state. Missouri is the seed of white stupidity, where it all festers and grows out of, where all the infection is, grows out of there. Florida's right there, 49, 50th in education, of course. But in Missouri, it's just they're not even hiding it anymore. They don't even hide it anymore. They are specifically going out and telling white people, you are more stupid than a donkey if you don't vote for what we want you to vote for. They have an actual donkey telling white people that if they don't vote for that amendment that they want to impose on them, they're stupider than a donkey. They have no respect for them at all. They have no respect for white Americans anymore. They know that they've already done what they plan to do to them. They already dumbed them down to the point that they expect them to do what they're going to be told to do. That's what all the redistricting has been, because they're saying to those voters, we know how stupid you are, that you're not going to think for yourself. You're going to vote the way we're telling you to vote. So we're going to redistrict around there just so you know you have to vote the way we tell you to. Because we own you, stupid beta boy inbred bitches. That's what they're telling America. That's what they're telling white America. And because they've been weaponized against themselves, they don't understand it. They don't see it. So one of the ads they're running is that donkey. The second of it is white matter of fact talking, man. How much are they going to take from you? How much are they going to give you? How much? Just lying straight to their faces. And because he's white, they'll believe it. They'll believe it. You're talking about a region of states that for decades upon decades has been preaching through white churches greed, ignorance, and hatred as godliness. That's why they believe all this stupid anti-immigrant in a nation built by immigrants. Because it's curated. It's curated. These white churches have been curating ignorance. The states have been curating stupidity. They can't read above a second, third grade level, at best, collectively. Some, not at all. Just so that they can impose their religious mumbo jumbo control autocratic dictatorship on a nation that was solely built on freedom. Founding fathers were regular, talented individuals, writers, scientists, inventors, a shoemaker, regular Americans. They did not want a nation run by the rich or a nation run by the oligarchy. That's exactly what they were going against. They wanted a nation by the people and for the people. So, the way to stop that is to end education, is to end intelligence, is to end individual thought, individual freedoms. And that's where I'm going to piss a lot of people off, because I'm going to talk about something that nobody talks about. I know why. Because it's going to involve a lot of, good people that weren't affected by this, but who fall under the effects of it. And that is drugs. They love to say that the fentanyl is killing. They love to say they're blowing up boats because they're bringing in fentanyl. Because, of course, they're talking to a population that they know is stupid. So that's where that comes from. The type of drugs that have risen over the generations affect everything as we move forward. After the Vietnam War, and that's the generation that I grew up in, out of, it was about love. Peace and love were the only things that drove Americans. Everything, the youth, the movement, everything was about love, was about peace. The civil rights movement came out of that. It was about tolerance, about inclusion, about love, and about love. And because our generation was that last generation just before AIDS, we got to fuck. We got to fuck and love each other. And the drugs of choice at the time were weed, LSD. What else? Heroin was the opposite, because there were two schools of thought on getting high. Our generation partied. I'm not going to lie about it. We partied. We did whatever we wanted. We enjoyed our freedoms. Some of it was good, some of it was bad. But within that, there were two schools of thought, even just about getting high. There were those that wanted to get high to get fucked up. I want to get fucked up. Let's get fucked up. You want to get fucked up? Let's get fucked up. And that included all those type of drugs that got you fucked up, including alcohol. Alcohol gets you fucked up. That's why people like alcohol, because it gets you fucked up. You forget your troubles, you forget your problems, you're fucked up. The other school of thought were those that want enlightenment, those that want to see more of the world, be more in tune with reality, consciousness, imagination. So those were the ones that leaned towards the LSDs, the weeds. The ones that wanted to get fucked up were the ones that went into the heroines and the pills that follow, which the biggest one of the time was Quaaludes. Quaaludes were like a shot, like taking two big shots of whiskey. Again, the abuse part, I knew people who used to take 10 Quaaludes in a night just because the tolerance built up, and that was the time. I never fell into that let's get fucked up mentality. I don't want to be fucked up. I want to know everything around me. I want to know everything that's happening. I want to know more about what's happening. So I never fell into that alcoholism or heroin or none of those. I was just about enjoying life. So that generation brought the Bill Clinton era, where by the time he left office, he left a surplus of money. We were filthy rich, if you want to talk about being rich, a nation being rich. Not a nation who's in debt that has a bunch of beta boy bitches hogging up and hoarding all the wealth and saying we're a rich nation. That's not nation. That's not rich. And I'll show you some presidents' images, ideas of what they felt prosperity and the wealth of a nation really is. So that's not a rich nation. If you're in debt, trillions, and you got beta bull bitches who hold trillions, then you're not rich. It's just common sense. But again, they aren't equipped to process that. So out of that generation, weed, LSD, heroin, and then there was that other one that was marketed to us as the rich man's high. That was cocaine. The rich man's high. So those that wanted to be rich and be like the rich man used cocaine. And again, that was one of those drugs that made you more aware and more involved and more. And so it became very popular. Here we go on the ride of drugs. Because the next generation, a whole different class of drugs came in. These were the introduction of crack cocaine started it. Deliberately targeting certain communities. Not by accident, not by happenstance, by deliberate targeting of communities. That followed with the ecstasies, the roofies, the Xanax, combined with alcohol and all the other drugs that they came in. And then that dividing line of color where meth became the counterpart to crack cocaine. Minority, black, Latino communities got infested with crack. The white communities, the trailer parks got infested with meth. It was the same. Like there's a comedian, Richie something. He says, and in the South there ain't no black or white. There's just poor. When you're being targeted, when you're being weaponized, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. It matters that you're poor. So that is the second wave of drugs. Now, these drugs have a very different chemical makeup and target very different parts of the brain. You're talking about, for example, ecstasy. That is a drug that lowers your inhibition. They loved everybody, and if you went to raves, if you went to those dance parties, if you were part of this generation. If you weren't taking the rave, the ecstasy, your friends were. So it was common. It wasn't like that's what they went there for. So those drugs affect the thought processing part of the brain, the decision-making part of the brain, forever. Not just while you're on the drugs. It's long-term. So these people, these now 40-something adults, 50s, pushing on 50s, who were deeply into crack, meth, ecstasy, roofies, Xanax, alcohol, weed, the fool are now sitting in school boards, sitting in public office. They are in city councils. They are in state government. They are in federal agencies. These are the people making decisions for your life. So, let's dive in to some of the effects, because all these kids started literally early in their lives. For example, I know a person who today is a mother of 3 young kids. At the age of 15, made a choice given by her mother. What do you want? Freedom or live under your father's rules? Father's rules were go to school, don't stay out all night, don't be an ass. Pretty simple rules. But those simple rules were too much for this young person to want, and chose freedom. Hey, it's a nation built on freedom, so a young person wanting their freedom, you would think, is a good thing. But what you do with that freedom is going to pretty much determine the rest of your life. So what did this young person do with that freedom? Dropped out of school completely. Began to consume crack, ecstasy, Xanax, roofies, etc. Married a crackhead, untalented rapper wannabe because she loved him. She loved him. Over the next couple of years, by the time she was in her 20s, she was living on the street, addicted to crack, infected by MRSA. Took an individual to risk literally his life to take that person and get him into treatment, who directly after treatment became involved with another addict, met in the meetings and stuff they go to after, followed him to another state, spit out 3 kids, found out the guy is a serial abandoner of children, has multiple families of children that he's turned his back on and doesn't give a crap about. And here is how that person's thought process, just a simple interaction, but says how this person thinks. They're at a park, enjoying a wonderful afternoon with the children, the grandfather. The littlest one wanders off into what seems like a path, but not a marked, dedicated path for people. The little autistic child wants to go into that wooded area. The mother follows her there, as she should. Decides to follow the little girl going through. The grandfather right away notices, hey, listen, this is not a path. This is not safe. Don't go through this. You shouldn't. But she continues to take the children into the unmarked path. The oldest of the kids says, no, I don't want to go through there. So the grandfather says, no, we're not going through there. We are going to stay on the marked asphalt path. So we do that. The oldest child and the grandfather go on the detailed marked path. The mother with the 2 younger ones drags them in through the brush. And guess what? They come out the other side full of ticks. Wasn't a big decision, wasn't a big choice. But a cognitive, well-thinking adult parent is probably not gonna take their children into a wooded area where you know that deer ticks are dangerous, are prevalent, are talked about in the news. as a warning, public safety warning. But because their brains do not process information correctly, they expose their children to unnecessary dangers. So those are the people making decisions for you. Those are the people who say that Medicare, Social Security is an entitlement. It's our biggest expense. Not giving welfare to oil companies who at the quickest little blink raise your prices on gas and make you pay for more, even though it's not affecting them at all. Because of their vast decades upon decades of profits over profits over profits over profits. They think you're stupid. They know you're stupid. It's not a think part anymore. And you see it in the ads. You see it in the type of campaign ads that they run, telling you that you're so stupid that you have to vote for what we tell you because you're so stupid. That's where you live. That's the America we're in. So the World Cup showed the beautiful diversity that the world brings. Every team, every nation has brought love and joy that we don't have. The games, the attendance as of the games has been almost 70% domestic, 60% domestic. It means our own people going to the games. It's not the world came in to see the game. It's a small group of fans that follow their teams all over the world. They don't stay. They don't spend money outside of what's necessary. They're not asking to stay. They're not asking for to become Americans. Why would they leave their nations where they have health care, where they have love, where they have support, where their food isn't polluted, where their waterways aren't polluted, where they're eating real food, not concoctions for profit? Why would they want to leave that? Little Mikey said, oh, but they're coming here and they're seeing. Yeah, they're on vacation. Of course they're having a good time. People go to China, come back saying they had a great time. They see the beauty, they see the wonders. They're not looking at the fact they're doing abuses to their citizens. People go to Cuba. Ask any Canadian. They go to Cuba and they have a great time. They eat delicious, wonderful food. They come back bragging about how wonderful the food in Cuba was. So, people on vacation having a good time aren't a big statement about your nation. It's not the flex they think it is. And as I said earlier, stupid begat stupid. Stupid decision. They didn't think they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz. They didn't think. That said it. They didn't think. And because they didn't think, now the war is going to escalate again, just like I said, because the goal is the midterm elections. Remember the meeting with Zelensky? Oh, you're at war, you don't have to have elections. Interesting. That's the goal. So this war is going to escalate. More Americans are going to die. They're going to go on the ground if they need to. They will nuke them if they need to, because these people have no empathy. These are people who were taking ecstasy, roofies, Xanax, and smoking crack and meth before they put the shirt and tie on and went into politics because they had nothing else to do. They could afford it. They inherited the money. Because wealth and intelligence don't go together. They don't. We all went to school. We all went to high school. You know, every one of you, that in your high school, there was a few of the richest little assholes who never did any work in class because they had somebody do the work for them, because the teachers were going to pass them, because their parents were donors to the schools or to the teachers behind the backs. They were gifting their educations. So we all know who they are. They're the beta boy bitches who fell ass backwards into wealth. Declared themselves geniuses because they could buy shit up. And now they're wreaking havoc on the world. Because I assure you, a lot of this was little Petey over there. Oh yeah, we're so powerful. We'll go in there and in the first day we're going to destroy them completely. They're dealing with nations that have been at war since the Crusades, that have an underground cave network that goes on for miles and miles and miles, that they have no idea what they have underground. They already obliterate them. They got nothing. They got no army. They just shot 1,000 drones, missiles, because you're dealing with stupid people. So what do we do? I don't know. America doesn't want a president by the people and for the people. We've covered that. And you see how many stupid white Americans will say, oh, America needs a dictator right there. Just like they said in Germany. There were people who said Adolf Hitler was a good thing for Germany. They supported it. Later they said, oh, we didn't know. But it doesn't happen in a vacuum. I love you. I love every single one of you. I love every one of you, even those of you who have been weaponized against yourselves. It's sad. It's sad because I remember how much this nation took pride in calling ourselves the melting pot of the world. I remember the best music, the best art, the best foods ever come out of an age of love. Peace and love was all we were about. Then greed took over. Then beta boy bitches took over. And here we are. God bless you. I love you people. It's crazy. It's just crazy and impossible.